Hi guys, so in today's video I'm going to show you how to make your own glass coasters. For those of you that follow me on Instagram, you guys will know I redid my desk recently. So yeah, I want to do everything I can to protect it. So yeah, I got these images from the internet. These are Mina Lima designs. I really love their designs, but you can literally choose anything you want. I had them printed at a printing company. So best thing is obviously you can do color or black and white, but the only thing is you have to print it on really good quality paper. So this is almost like a poster paper. I think it's a 90-gram paper. That way it's just a better quality and it's super smooth. So when it goes on with the Modge Podge, it goes on really nicely. So yeah, but like I said, you can do any shape, any size, any design, whatever you want. And yeah, I just went to my local glass supplier and they cut these for me. So they can cut, in general, they can cut any size for you depending on what their capabilities are. But on average, they do squares as well as circles. So yeah, I just thought these designs will look best on squares. That's why I chose it. So yeah, so for a project like this, like I said, you're gonna need really good copies of whatever you want. The glass, obviously, a ruler, your NT cutter, and then a Modge Podge. What Modge Podge is first of all, it's an adhesive. So you're going to use this to stick your design onto your surface. So your surface can be wood or glass or whatever you want to put your design on. When that has completely dried, you're going to start layering the Modge Podge over your design. And that way it just seals your piece of paper so that should it get wet, it's not going to damage it. So yeah, with this specific one, I wouldn't say that you can submerge the whole item in water. You can wipe it down, there's not going to be an issue. You do get a glass one that's specifically made for glass and ceramic, and that one you can submerge into water, but it's a lot longer. The process is a lot longer, and you have to bake it in the end. So yeah, that's a bit too much work for a silly coaster. I might do a video on that in the future, but I'm not going to do it with this project. So yeah, the amount of layers you put on afterwards is totally up to you, and obviously on what item you're going to put your design on. So for this one, I think I'll do about 4 or 5 layers. I'll see how things go. So as an example, I made this pencil holder for my desk. So this is also something I just had printed, and this is a wood surface. Obviously I painted it beforehand. And yeah, I only put 2 layers of Modge Podge afterwards because this is not going to get wet. So yeah, so you have more or less an idea of what it can look like, and really you can basically do it on any surface. So my next step is going to be to cut these out. I am going to cut them on the line. I did the designs for 9 centimeters by 9 centimeters, but the glass plates, they aren't that accurate. So I know I'm going to have to cut them a bit smaller in the end. So now I have my 4 designs cut out. Then I'm going to start with the first one, and I'm going to measure it on this piece of glass to see where I should cut it a bit extra or where I should change it a tiny bit. And then just remember, as you're going along, keep each design with its glass, because not all these glasses are going to be the same. So yeah. So I'm happy with what they look like. As a side note, just to make sure that the paper actually seals in the end, if you look at how I cut it, you will see that there's a tiny bit of glass sticking out on the side. That is just so that when you start building up the layers of Modge Podge, that the water doesn't go in there. So that just helps it to seal a bit better. So these are done. So basically what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to wipe them on the surface with just a normal wet wipe, just to make sure if that any of the Modge Podge that came onto the surface, that it's just wiped down, and I will have them dry like this overnight. So these are now dry. The first layer I did up and down, whereas this layer I'm going to do side by side. That way you just make double sure that the Modge Podge seals properly. So each layer I'm going to alternate between up and down and side to side. So my second layer has dried completely. Each layer after this layer, you have to sand it with a wet piece of sandpaper. So you can use anything between 800 and 1200. I'm using 1200. So what the sandpaper does, it just smooths out all these rough edges, and it just makes it look better and it helps it seal better. So yeah, you can just gently sand it in between layers and just make sure to dry it off afterwards before putting the new layer of Modge Podge on. And always make sure that your Modge Podge layer has dried completely before you start sanding it. Okay, so I'm done and I'm happy with these. I've given them 4 coats of the Modge Podge, and I think for a coaster that is enough. So yeah, so my last and final step is I have these bump-ons. You can buy them at any kitchen supply store or hardware store, and they're specifically made for glass. And this just helps your glass not from sliding around on a flat surface. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to stick one in each corner, and that way it just lifts the coaster up from the surface so that this part doesn't scratch, as well as keeps it nice and steady. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. When and if you plan on making these, please share your images with me. I would love to see the designs that you choose and how it came out in the end. I hope you guys have an awesome week, and I'll see you next week.